All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Designated Pundits. I'm Scott, here with Dion. No Bob, no Alex today, but that's okay. Today we'll be looking at the Western Conference, something that Bob and Alex know nothing about. Well, let's get after it. Bob's going to catch a lot of strays for me today. It's fine. We love him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's got other things. Dion, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm not too bad. I can't complain. Just another. It's a hot Tuesday here on the East Coast.
You know what? It's a hot Tuesday here in the Mountain West as well. I am just perspiring like I kid. No, it's fine. AC is on. It's quite comfortable. Honestly, I'm just glad that I don't have to deal with the humidity.
Yeah, that's the worst part about it. Like
Mhm.
it's crazy. Just taking my dog out. I step out and like I'm drenched, and it's not even like sweat. It's just because how humid it is. Like just sticky.
You're just wet all the time. The worst thing is like, and I've lived in humid environments before. You take a shower, you feel great, you dry off, you take your towel, you dry off, and you're still wet.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You go to put on your clothes and everything's still kind of sticky and
It sucks. It sucks.
it's terrible. People were not meant to live in humid places.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Well, um, so last week we covered the Eastern Conference, kind of a mid-season review, 2 episodes, top half of the table. It's really top 7, and then the bottom half of the table. If you missed those episodes, go back, listen to them. They're great. Today we're going to do the West, actually kind of back to back. We're going to start with the top half of the Western Conference. Today we're going to go San Diego FC, they're in first. Vancouver Whitecaps, they're in second. Minnesota United, they're in third. Seattle Sounders in fourth. LAFC in fifth. Portland Timbers in sixth. And Austin FC in seventh place. So those are going to be our topic of discussion for the moment. Real quick, let's just talk about those 7 teams and just sort of overall impression, how they're doing. Are they overachieving, underachieving? San Diego FC.
I think they're overachieving. I think
That's hot,
I'm saying that just because uh, usually I know that we saw St. Louis do very well whenever they had their inaugural season, but I feel like most teams are usually mediocre in their
man.
inaugural season. Was not expecting them to be in first, so I think they're overachieving.
That's wild. I don't think they're overachieving. I think they are doing what they were built to do. I do think there's some luck involved. I think they've gotten. I don't think that teams who bring in this many, new players from out of the league, stuff like that, I don't think they hit as often as San Diego has hit. So I think there's some luck involved, but otherwise, like I think they have a sound sort of strategy. They implemented an identity. They have their good players continue to perform. So I think they're okay. I do think that part of their being first place is that the rest of the West, you could make an argument that the rest of the West are underachieving.
I can agree with that.
But yeah, for me, I think San Diego, in a lot of ways, deserves to be where they are. Let's go to Vancouver.
Vancouver, I would say maybe if anything they would be overachieving just a little bit because I didn't expect them to perform as well. So their recent form is what was expecting all year, not how they were at the beginning of the season. Like I mean, they were winning no matter what kind of rotation they had. Like second string, third string guys, it felt like they were still winning. They were finding ways to win. The way that their form is now is what I expected them to be all season. I wouldn't expect them to be second right now. I would have thought that they would be like maybe fifth, sixth, around that area,
Mhm.
fourth maybe. But here they're sitting in second.
Sure. I'm broadly with you. Preseason, this is what I expected from Vancouver, a team that puts together some good wins, but also loses games they probably should do better in. Uh, there were a couple of players you knew Brian White was going to be decent. I thought they would struggle a lot more without Ryan Gauld. His loss has really not been a factor in their season, which is shocking. But like on the balance, in some ways, I'm like, yes, this Vancouver team is overachieving, but broadly, like they're well coached, and they have what they had last year, which is a whole bunch of good role players who do their jobs very consistently every week. And when you look at the rest of the West, especially at the top, they don't have that kind of consistency. And and that from that perspective, I'm pretty like, yeah, Vancouver's about where they should be because they show up and are very consistent every week, and they have players who perform at high levels every week. Like Brian White is the kind of guy who gets you goals very regularly. Um,
And I think that they're one of the best teams as in like actual team play.
yeah,
Like there's not like, yes, we hear Brian White, we hear Berhalter a good bit, but like I feel like no one is like this. There's not a like a star. They're actually a team,
mhm,
a, and they play as a good team. I don't know,
yeah.
just like on the same page, I guess is what you can really say. Like that camaraderie is there,
Mhm.
and they perform well.
Berhalter's a really good shout of a player who functions really well in the system. He's a good player on his own, but he plays well with his teammates. He plays well in the system. He elevates the players around him, and he contributes at a high level every game. I like that. Um, I do think that if other teams in the West were more consistent or were getting more out of their top end players, that Vancouver might not be in second. That's I kind of think that, but the other teams are, and so I think Vancouver deserves what they've got.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you on that one.
Minnesota United.
I think I'm gonna go with it again. I think overachieving. They don't really like. They really
Yeah.
don't have any like mate. They don't really have
Mm-hmm.
the no major guys.
Yeah.
I think that I really like Yaboa. I like watching Yaboa for them, and I'm forgetting the name of their other guy that we hear.
Is it Bongi or Tani Alusei? Is it
OSA.
Tani?
Yeah.
Alusei. Yeah, it is Tani.
Yes.
I got that right.
Yeah, that's who. You hear about those two a good bit, but like
Mhm.
another team that plays well together and they get results. And I don't feel like with teams like LAFC, Portland, Seattle, I don't with those names like Minnesota shouldn't be in third. Like with those other teams, they should be higher. I feel like, but
Mhm.
Minnesota, the way that they're playing, they like you said about Vancouver, they deserve to be there.
I think they do deserve to be there on the bounce the way that they played. I think they are getting the best out of their players, but I agree with you. I think they're overachieving. Um, I don't think they are playing top three soccer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They do not walk onto the field and play soccer like they are a top three team in the West every week. And I like this last week is a great example. That was a game they should have won. They should have won that quite handily. And they lost to the Rapids at home, by the way. And that's something a top three team shouldn't do.
Yeah, should not be happening.
Yeah. And so even though they've done a good job getting consistent performances out of good players, I think broadly Eric Ramsey is a good coach, but their mindset is of a team that is farther down the table.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
Seattle.
So for me, Seattle was underperforming, but
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
that they are performing now what you expect from a Seattle team. I think that since Club World Cup has been over, they have looked like the Seattle team that I expect, from Seattle. Usually Seattle's usually a top 3 team in my eyes since I've been watching the league. And I think that they have been playing, and I keep saying it on my channel, since the Club World Cup, I have either picked Seattle to win or draw in all the matches, and that's what they've done. They've either won or drawn. I think they're on I think 7+ unbeaten streak, maybe something like that. So I think right now they're performing the way they should be, but at the beginning of the season was underperforming.
I am mostly with you. The thing is like this is the Seattle way. Seattle never puts together a whole season from the start. They always start badly. You can take advantage of them, especially if they're in other competitions. They don't prioritize MLS until later. They know. They just have to make the playoffs, be reasonably placed, and they know too that they have the roster to do it. They can just sort of turn it on, be good. They've got the coach for it with Schmetzer. This is the Seattle pattern, and they are right where they should be. Right where they should be. They've had some injuries and some challenges. Jordan Morris went down and has been out for a long stretch this season. Stephen Fry had that really bad head injury.
Yes.
That affects them, and has been unavailable for a bit. But they, have just carried on.
Yep. Yeah, because Areola is also out, I believe, with injury.
He picked up an injury like the first week of the season, ACL, so done for the season. He has been a complete non-factor in the season, absolutely.
And then Ferreira, I don't feel like Ferreira's hasn't been performing well for them either. And I know that he was battling injury there for a little while, like just a nagging injury, I believe. I could be wrong, but we haven't heard his name too much.
3 goals, 4 assists on the season. He might get a shout out later in this episode. We'll see.
Okay.
He's got 23 matches played, so let's not pretend like he's been unavailable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it hasn't been too bad then.
It's not too bad. Yeah. So I think that's a good dissection on Seattle. Let's go to LAFC. LAFC is 5th, and I do want to say LAFC, because of other competitions, has only played 23 games. So they have 2 games in hand on Seattle and Vancouver, and 3 games in hand on Minnesota and San Diego. They're on 37 points, and if you add 6 to that, right, they'd be at 43 and sitting in 4th. So away you go.
I think, like, I expect LAFC to be like top 2 because of their team. But like you said, they have 3 games in hand. I actually think they're right where they're supposed to be. Yes, they have dropped some games that they shouldn't have this season. And things like, I think they tied with the Galaxy at home, I think. I know that they drew with LA Galaxy at one point, and like they should have beat them.
I think it was like a 3-3
draw. Yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of throw those rivalry games out the window.
Yeah.
And that did happen after the Galaxy started to build a little
bit, but I just
won't
feel like
call
they're
it
still
momentum, but
but I still feel like LAFC are like, they just have the players. And then now with Sun coming in, I think Sun is going to make a splash. I know that, always people are always saying because he's a little bit older, but like, I don't think that he's that old. And I don't feel like his performance in the Premier League has dropped too much. So I'm expecting him to make a big splash there for LAFC, a lot better than Giroud. So, I mean, I feel like he was kind of a bust for them. I know that could be a whole nother podcast. We could talk about that later or something, but I think they're on par.
I think they're right about where they were supposed to be. I'm going to talk about them a little bit more later. they're right where they're supposed to be. You're absolutely right. I think they have a pretty solid squad in most aspects. The offense has been the issue. It's really been a question of, can Denny Bwanga do it? If the answer is yes, then things go well. If the answer is no, then things go badly. Let's move to Portland, number 6, the Portland Timbers.
I don't know. To me, I always feel like Portland is also one of those Western Conference teams that you expect a little bit more from.
Mhm.
But right now, I would say they're about where they should be. Like, because they don't really have any, they don't have too many like standout players, but I feel like they could be doing a little bit better. I don't know. I think I'll just go with they're on par.
They've got some okay. They've got some okay talent. The offense is not as electric as it was last year. Obviously, losing Evander makes
It's a
a
huge
difference, right? And Jonathan Rodriguez has been out injured, and that makes a difference. Two of the guys that did a lot of work last season, but it's not like their new signings have been bad. I think they are an overperforming team.
Okay.
I think they should be lower. I think the problem is, if you ask me what Portland's good at, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
And I have watched Portland you more than some of the other teams on this list. And I watched Portland very closely at least a couple of times when RSL played them. I still can't tell you what Portland's good at.
Yeah. And that's the thing I'll say right now. I pay attention way more to the East than I do the West. So I mean, I don't watch these teams just because of the time
Mhm.
difference. It's hard to
Yeah,
stay up.
yeah,
It's
the
hard to
late
stay up and
games for
watch
you.
these games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an old man when it comes to bedtime and stuff. I'm not staying up until 10:30 for a start. It ends up being like 1 o'clock in the morning when those games are over. So I know more about the East than I do the West. But yeah, I can see what you mean by like what are Portland good at. That is a great way to look at it.
That's a tough one. All right. Last one on this list of the quick hits, Austin FC.
I'm going to say I feel like Austin is underperforming. I think that
Ooh.
they're under. I was expecting with players like Uzuni, and I know that Vasquez is out now, so that does kind of, I guess now that kind of like puts them on par where they should be. Like 7 is like where they should be, maybe even a little bit lower. Um, I was just expecting to see a lot of goals from them, and you just haven't seen it. I mean, they only have 23 on the season,
Mhm.
and that's 10 less than the closest team to them, above them. So, but
Mhm.
they're not allowing goals either. So, I mean, it kind of
Defense has been
plays.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, their defense has been good, but I was expecting to see more goals from them. So I think that they're, I guess, underachieving right now. Well, it's going to stay where they're at now, but yes, underachieving so far.
That is a compelling argument. I view them a little bit as overachievers because although the defense has been good, the offense has been terrible.
No.
And the midfield is not that great either. And so I look at this team and I see not very many goals, and I'm like, how? How is this team sitting in 7th? How are other teams around them not getting above these guys? I think their position is an overperformance. Even if I believe you, and I think you're right, they have underperformed relative to the roster that they put together.
Mhm.
Their position is an overperformance relative to their actual on the field performances.
Yeah, I mean, because they've scored 23 and only allowed 28. So I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I
Their goals count, man. Their goals count for more than other teams.
yes, yeah, they do.
All right. Well, let's transition then into our sort of like main hits. We're gonna do teams like the number one overperforming team for you, the number one underperforming team, top players, unexpected players, disappointing players. The same kind of body of stuff that we did in the last one. So for you, of the top 7 teams, who is overperforming the most?
To me, I'm going to have to go with that number one spot, San Diego. Uh, they do have a good roster. I guess at the beginning of the season, I should have done my homework more and actually looked up all the players and everything,
Sure.
because you just never know. And like, even you can have the best players, sometimes the best players in the world, and not win trophies. I mean, look at PSG at one point in time with
Oh yeah.
Mbappe, Messi. You can have the best players, but they don't always mesh together. So whenever we were coming into the season, I did not see San Diego even making the playoffs, let alone be in first place. And they're doing what they need to do to get the job done, and they're a surprise to me. So I think that they're my overperforming team overall.
Love it. I do remember talking to the San Diego uh like local podcast in our preseason previews and stuff. And they were like, honestly, no idea what this team is going to be like. They were like, they could be great, they could be terrible. Nobody knew. It's kind of a fun thing to watch. For me, the number one overperforming team, look, we can make arguments that all of these teams have overperformed in some way or another. Who overperformed the most for me? It's Portland. The thing I go back to all the time is something put out by friend of the show, Jeremy Peterman, who helps us kind of whenever we need Portland insight. He put out a tweet the other day, well, it was like a month ago, and he said, Portland is a team that doesn't play soccer. He says soccer just sort of happens to them. And he's absolutely
That's
right.
great. That is a great tweet. Yeah.
He's absolutely right. That is a banger tweet. And if you are listening to this, go like that tweet for Jeremy Peterman, because he is spot on with that. The truth is, like I said earlier, what is Portland good at? I don't know. The offense is okay. They have some good players who can do magic. The defense is all right. They're reasonably well organized. They're not really bad at anything either, but there's nothing really like special about this group. They're sitting sixth on 37 points right now. If they were in the East, they'd be ninth, right? Like I think they have achieved a level of comfort in the standings that they absolutely do not deserve. The season is not going that well. I don't see a ton of signs that it's going to get a whole lot better anytime soon. I watched RSL, who are pretty poor this season, go to Portland and win on the road and score multiple goals. That is kind of embarrassing, actually, for a team who has like basically no offensive output to do that to you. For me, it's Portland.
I like that pick. I mean, and also, like, speaking of like them playing at home, I mean, in recent years, like going to Providence Park, it was hard to play at.
It
And I
was
feel like this
nightmare.
season, yeah, like I feel like this season, you can go in and sneak at least a point, even 3 points now.
Mhm.
So I can see what you mean, like sitting sixth in the table, that they're overperforming.
I used to worry about playing Portland. Anytime my team had to play Portland, didn't matter if Portland was in the playoff picture or not. I was like, that's going to be a nightmare. That's going to be a tough game. Portland's going to play so hard. Players are going to do stuff. Guys like Diego Chara, man, you just knew that guy was going to do something.
Workhorse, man.
Yep, he was going to make stuff happen in that game, and now I just don't feel that. Portland is just some team. Okay, next up, which team is underperforming the most?
For me, we kind of touched on it during our going through each one of the teams. I still feel like it's Austin. They've and I'll go back to talking about their scoring, just between players like Zuni, Vasquez. I mean, I wasn't expecting Vasquez to come in and do what he was doing at Cincinnati, because he had players around him in Cincinnati that gave him a lot of opportunity to score. And when you have Acosta at that time, Acosta was good, one of the best players in the league, MVP, caliber, and whenever you can get the ball from him and some even the wingers and stuff, I wasn't expecting him to score that many goals, but I was expecting him to be, at least at the 10 goal mark at this point in time in the season.
Just more
And
consistent.
what was that?
You're just looking at him to be more consistent, right?
Yeah, that's what, and now it sucks because now they're really going to underperform because he's out, and I don't know who they have, to step up. I know that Ohm Wolf is actually playing very well for Austin. I feel like he's playing very well for a team that's inconsistent, and I think that they're lucky to be in 7th place. And I'd like to see how, like, with them being at 34 points, they would definitely be out of the playoff picture in the East. Like, making that comparison, like you did with Portland, like they're going to be out of the playoffs at that point. So, to me, Austin underperforming.
I love that pick. Top scorer for that team still is Brandon Vasquez at 5.
Yeah.
Next guy up, Guillermo Biro at 3, tied with Mirto Uzuni at 3.
Yeah.
That is wild. For me, I'm gonna say LAFC is my most underperforming team. And a lot of this is like, for the first half of the season, they got nothing out of Olivier Giroud. And if you wonder, is Olivier Giroud bad? He went to France, went to Lille, and in however many games, like 5 games or whatever, he's got 3 goals, which is what he did in his entire tenure in MLS. He's done it in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And it's like, why? Like, how? It doesn't make sense.
It kind of makes sense because when Olivier Giroud was leaving, he basically said, we're not good at crossing the ball. We're good. We're only sort of good at playing out to the wingers, but we can't play through the middle. We don't play to the middle or whatever. So he really kind of scorched earth a little bit, but called out the fact that the team wasn't very good at putting a center forward like him in positions to succeed, to link up, to score goals, to have chances, whatever. I think that's relevant. I think this team, although I don't think they're badly coached, I do think that there are some things that they are very, very not good at. And center forward play, how to use that center forward, what to do with that player, I think are one of them. I think this is why, like, Denny Bouanga's the star. The team is designed to let Denny Bouanga succeed, but everybody else kind of suffers for it.
It's almost like you need to play like I would say, like, he is the center. Like, Drew, just his play style just didn't work because
No.
I feel like you almost need in the way that they play with their wingers with Bouanga, and I can't remember who's on the other side that plays all the time. Is it Perez? No.
Bear with me for a second. We should know this, but
yes, I should know this too. But
like the whole league in your brain. Come on, some people are just. I think sometimes it's Ordaz or Martinez.
Ordaz, there we go. Ordaz, or Martinez. So, like, those guys are, to me, those guys take on defenders well, and so, like, they're going to cut in instead of trying to cross it. So, like, really, you almost need like a false 9 to like they can cut inside, give it to the false 9, and the false 9 give it back, like 1-2 back to them for a shot instead. Because that, now that you say that, like, crossing is not something you see LAFC do.
Yeah, they don't. It was an interesting thing when they signed Olivier Giroud and the Galaxy signed Marco Reus. We happened to be like, we did a show right afterwards and we talked about it. And Bob and I talked about this at length, that we brought it up many times since then. We said they signed the wrong players. They should have gone to the other teams. Olivier Giroud would have done a lot better in the Galaxy style and setup that was creating buckets of chances for Dejan Joveljic last year. And Marco Reus would have done better in that sort of free flowy, move around and combine and create style that LAFC have. He could have played as that false 9 that you're talking about.
Yeah, I like that. That is, they should Should have flipped.
Yeah, they got that wrong. Anyways, LAFC for getting that wrong. You're my most underperforming team. Let's talk about some players. Top players for you. Let's have a top player of the season.
So for me, I would have to say Dryer for Sandy. I'm sticking with on that
Yeah,
San Diego,
yeah,
team. I mean, 27 goal and assist combined on the season. I mean, the man's doing everything right. He's playing phenomenal soccer, and it's just when we heard about San Diego and stuff, like it's all going to be about Chucky, and then like Dryer comes out in the first. I'm pretty sure he scored in like the first game or the second game or whatever, and like the man has just not stopped. And his performance this season so far is phenomenal, and he's fun to watch. He's fun to watch.
He's fantastic, and honestly, like he's in the MVP conversation. I think he's the best player in the Western Conference. Absolutely, 100% support. A top player that I would like to highlight is, I mean, this is not a Dryer competition in a way, right? Dryer is, I think, in a lot of ways in a class by himself. But I'd like to mention Christian Roldan. That's a guy who for years was an attacking player. I still think of him as an attacking player, and he has completely reinvented himself into a rock star defensive midfielder. He is actually a league leader. He's not the league leader, but a league leader, right? Top percentages for tackles won, duels won, interceptions. I mean, I can't tell you how many attacking midfielders cannot do any of those things. They don't know how to break down. They don't want to get physical. They're not going to win tackles. They're not going to make duels, right? They don't want that. They don't want that smoke, as it were. Christian Roldan does. And he's
always been that physical guy, I feel like. Yeah. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, he does. It's in his nature. You're absolutely right. He does want it. He buzzes around the field. He does dirty work. But it's more than just that. Like a lot of guys are good at being kind of destroyers. Christian Roldan averages 87.66 touches per 90. Right? That's a touch every minute.
Yeah.
But he is the metronome for Seattle. I have another stat here: 60.98 successful passes per 90. That's a very high number. He's just been a remarkable player, a remarkable leader for that Seattle team. I think he is very worthy of recognition.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Let's move on to unexpected players. This could be a player that has been surprising to you in a negative sense, that they are doing worse than you thought they would do, or a player who surprised you in a positive sense that is succeeding where you didn't expect them to. Who you got? Yeah.
So in this episode, I'm going on a positive note because in the East, yes, I went a negative way with the unexpected player. I have to say Berhalter for Vancouver. Midfielder, and it kind of, we talked about Roldan, like just this physical, aggressive kind of guy, and I feel like Berhalter has been that way. 5 goals, 7 assists for Vancouver this season, but he got the national team call up. I thought he played well for the US. Some people might disagree, but yeah, I thought he played very well. But some of the stats that I looked up, like he ranks in the 80th percentile in the majority of the stats among players in the same position as him in MLS. Like, and a lot of those stats were in the 90th percentile. So like, he's getting the job done. He's everywhere on the field. He's not afraid to get down and dirty in the mud, but like also makes things happen as a midfielder. So I went with Berhalter on this one.
I love that. He's impressed me all season. U.S. men's national team fans have been asking for an all-action midfielder for years, and he is one.
Yep.
He does all of the things. He does them well. He has a great set piece delivery. I think, look, he's still a young player. There'll still be development and growth. That's awesome. But no, quite happy with him. Great pick for that. For me, unexpected Jaden Nelson. I'm going to keep it in Vancouver. He just came out of nowhere for me, and he doesn't have the consistency I think that like Berhalter has had in terms of impact. He's only got like 2 goals, 5 assists, but he's also only played like 970 something minutes. So he's doing it when he's got the opportunities. He has an assist every he has like a half an assist per game or something like that. So if you give him full 90s, he's going to get an assist every other game. That's not bad actually. It's his first year in the league. He's a very young player. I think he's electric. I think big European teams are going to be looking at this guy very, very soon. I don't think he's long for the league.
Yeah, I mean, I like that pick, especially with it, being his first year and still having, I feel like it takes guys a while to get acclimated in MLS because of the travel and everything. And yeah, I like that pick.
I remember he just like demolished Portland early in the season. Just absolutely just ran riot there. Incredible. Great player. All right. Ending on a negative note, I guess. Disappointing players. Who has disappointed you the most?
So, I mean, we've kind of already talked about him a couple different times. Brandon Vasquez, I just disappointed. I know that he's injured. I hope he's doing well. I see it. I think he's been posting on like Instagram and stuff showing his recovery, which is cool. Like I hope that he gets back really soon. I've always liked Brandon Vasquez. I'm pretty sure he started out in Atlanta. I know that he played for Atlanta at one point in time. I saw the potential there, and then they shipped him off to Cincinnati. I was like, why did you do that? And here he performed very well there. But yeah, I mean, only 5 goals on the season and no assist with 19 starts. I mean, not good. And he almost has as many yellow cards as he does goals. He has 3 yellow cards on the season. So it's just trying to put that in perspective. Just not good numbers. And I don't know if he's just not meshing well with the team. Or he just, again, we talked about Giroux earlier, not that his play style is not what, LAFC run. Is that what's happening to Vasquez in Austin? And then also when he comes back from this injury, what is he going to be like coming back from the injury? And so unfortunately, he's my disappointing player so far this season.
I think that's a really good pick. I had higher expectations for him too. I didn't think he was actually that great in Cincinnati. I thought he was overhyped there, but even still, for what he is and the kind of things we do know he can do, I thought he was very wasteful for Austin.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick before I get to mine, we have a real time correction from River. Nelson was at TFC, then went to Europe and came back this year. That's absolutely true. I just fact checked it. He actually played quite a few games, made quite a few appearances for Toronto. Not a lot to speak of statistically. 1 goal and 3 assists in 2022, and kind of nothing before that. But he did have some of the games, so it's not like MLS was an unknown quantity. So
Gotcha.
Thanks for that, River. I do want to point out he's still only 22 years old, so
Still a young guy, yeah.
Yeah, still a young guy. Toronto was starting him at 19, 18, 17 years old with his first appearances. So
Where do you know where he went overseas?
I do actually. I have that pulled up. 22, 23. So I guess 22 was the year he transferred. Rosenborg BK. Have no idea where they're from actually.
Gotcha. So I mean, was he sold back or is he on loan?
I think it was a transfer. They're in Norway, so he went to Norway. Then SSV Ulm, who is a German team.
So then he came back. Yeah, I was just wondering if it was one of those deals like
They're
he was
in the
signed
third.
by
We're in the third division of German soccer, by the way. So
I think MLS might be a little bit better, maybe.
I think we're a little better than the third division of German soccer.
I would like to think so.
Yeah.
That could be a huge topic of discussion there. Don't come at me, please.
Looks like Rosenberg had him. He went to on loan to Germany, came back to Rosenberg, and I think it's a full transfer to Vancouver. Okay. But if anybody knows better,
let us know.
Jump in the chat. I'll take it. I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
All right, my disappointing player. I had a toss up actually. I changed my mind mid episode. I was going to go with Seattle's Nuhu. Not because he's especially bad, but because he has been a lot of trouble for Schmetzer and Seattle. He has 2 red cards on the season already, which is a lot. He's been a source of off-season drama or off-the-field drama, I mean, which is a bad thing to have from an outside back. But I changed my mind mid-episode. I'm going to go with Jesus Ferreira. And it's for the stuff we talked about before. 3 goals, 4 assists. Jordan Morris picking up the injury. You're looking at Jesus Ferreira to be an offensive leader. Well, you know who the real offensive leader on Seattle is?
Is it Rusnak?
It's Rusnak, yeah. And he's the guy he's actually got the most goals on the team. He's got the most assists. He is the guy that is actually making a lot of stuff happen for the team. And Jesus Ferreira, it's not like he's been unavailable. He has 23 games played, 23 appearances. So in MLS, so he is not doing enough. Mm-hmm. And we know he can do. We know that he was disillusioned towards the end of his time at Dallas, and he was unhappy. I thought that coming into a Seattle team that was much higher performing, you're surrounded by talent, you have really good coaching staff, a lot of players who are motivated, veterans, and a lot of consistency in the squad. I thought that he would land there and they would get the best out of him the way that we had seen before. That just, for me, has not happened.
I mean, that's a great pick because that would have been my second pick after Vasquez. I mean, because if you look at that Seattle team with how many good players they have in the midfield, and then yes, Jordan Morris got hurt, but if he was healthy playing alongside him, like to me, I would expect Jesus Ferreira having like a 10 goal, 10 assists season.
Yeah.
At least, because him and Jordan Morris feeding off each other and him getting the ball from Rusnak and I expect more than three goals and 4 assists.
For sure. And well, it's not like okay, Morris went down and nobody else in Seattle can score. Danny Musovski has 8 goals this season. Right? He's scoring. It's not like nobody else can score. So, I just think Jesus Ferreira has not done enough in that regard. Well, all right, that's our top half of the West. We'll be back in a couple of minutes to the bottom half of the West. It's a busy week. We don't have time to be doing this on multiple days. We'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you for watching with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Always love the comments and love the interaction. And with that said, I guess thanks. See you.
I like it. Do we have to?
Oh, hold on. We haven't ended yet. We're still live. This is awkward.
It's great.